What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Deech Sports coming in with another video today. I hope you guys are having a great day. I had a little bit of a vacation, so I didn't make a video in the last 2 weeks, but we got some breaking news from yesterday. If you guys probably heard, Ben Johnson, the former Lions offensive coordinator, has agreed to terms to become the next Chicago Bears head coach. What a great hire this was. Obviously, Ben Johnson, probably the number one, if not, in my opinion, the number one head coaching candidate on the list for a lot of teams. Teams like the Jaguars. As you see, I'm wearing my big Jaguar coat here, but unfortunately, we didn't get him. But shout out to my boy Austin Esterline and his Chicago Bears getting him. There was rumors too that the Raiders were the favorites to land him. On Bleacher Report, there some rumors came up and flared up that Ben Johnson could potentially go to the Raiders, but the Chicago Bears, of course, were also that another top three / they were that team that had a lot that really what Ben Johnson could be looking for, right? As y'all know, the Bears, they fired Matt Eberflus, their former head coach, who didn't make it through the season last season. They promoted Thomas Brown, who was their one of their, I think, their QB coach, one of their offensive coaches. He was promoted to interim offensive coordinator. They fired their former offensive coordinator, Shane Waldron, in the middle of the season, and then obviously Thomas Brown got pushed up again when Matt Eberflus was let go. That was just after the controversial, call in the fourth down when they ironically played the Lions that day. But Ben Johnson, he's heading to the division rival Chicago Bears to help elevate Caleb Williams, former first overall pick from last season. Caleb Williams, look, despite everything that Chicago had going on, he had a solid year. Obviously, he wasn't great. Definitely, there's still growth, there's still development that needs to happen. This is why a hire like Ben Johnson for a young quarterback heading into his second year is paramount, that you get him really playing and getting him on track. And the good news is Chicago, they're in a good position right now, right? Obviously, things didn't go as planned last season, but they've got a lot of offensive talent. They've got DJ Moore. We'll see if they keep Keenan Allen. They drafted Rome Odunze in the first round last year. They've got DeAndre Swift, a third down back, and they've got Roschon Johnson. I would expect them to potentially look into signing, or Ashton Jeanty is in. I think the Bears have the number 10 pick, which is also another good thing too for Ben Johnson to really use that draft capital that the Bears do have to get them a running back. Also, the offensive line is going to be really important for if Ben Johnson's going to be able to do with this offense that he did in Chicago, what he did in Detroit. It's going to be very important that they get that offensive line straightened out. They got to get that offensive line to play better, and they got to also probably potentially make some moves. That offensive line was not great. The Bears have invested into the offensive line. I know Tevin Jenkins is a former first-round pick. I know Braxton Jones was solid, but I know he's kind of injury-prone. Darnell Wright is a former number 10 pick in the draft a couple seasons ago. They have invested in the offensive line. It's just a matter of really getting them to play at a high level, but also potentially to making a position change and also adding more beef up front. So it's going to be important to come in and also, right, becoming the head coach, right? It's not just getting the offense and Caleb Williams to play better and to really simplify things for the offense. It's the whole team, right? It's the whole aspect of coming in and coaching. NFL Live, Dan Orlovsky, Marcus Spears, I watched NFL Live and they talked about and how important it was. You're not just coming in and not only figuring out the offense, but you're coming in, you're the head coach now. It's important too for you to build out your staff, to find out what staff is going to be good to lead these men into the right direction, and also get this team to be a winner. Because as you know, the Chicago Bears historically have not been a great team, or obviously historically back in the day, back in the 80s and 90s with those defenses, they were really good. But really, from a franchise perspective, in their franchise history, they've never really had a top QB maybe as talented as Caleb Williams. So, it is important that Chicago gets the best out of Caleb Williams, because they've never had a quarterback throw for over 4,000 yards. In their over 100-year history, the Chicago Bears have never had a QB throw for over 4,000 yards in a season. I think Caleb Williams did it. If he didn't do it this year, they're still waiting for somebody to do it. I got to go back and check. But it's important that Ben Johnson, again, this is a phenomenal hire, and I think he will be successful in Chicago. Um, I do like Ryan Poles. I think he's a solid GM. He clearly, you know, invested in, got, drafted, added a lot of talent. Now it's just about really giving him the resources and giving him the pieces and allowing him to build this team how he wants to, but also adding the right coaching staff. According to Adam Shefter as well, Dennis Allen is the favorite to become the next defensive coordinator for Ben Johnson in Chicago. Former Saints. Sorry, I keep screwing up words, guys. Former Saints head coach. Didn't have a great stint last year. He was actually fired, I think, earlier in the season. They kind of ran him out of there. Saints fans didn't like him, so Dennis Allen was out. But as a defensive coach and as a defensive coordinator, he is a really good defensive mind. Dennis Allen is a really good coach, a defensive coach. So that would be a really, and is expected to be a really great hire for Ben Johnson, stepping right in and already identifying a guy that can really help get this defense right. Because the Bears, they also have a lot of talent on defense. They got Montez Sweat. They've got Jalen Johnson, one of the top corners in the game. They got those really two good linebackers in Tremaine Edmonds and TJ Edwards. And we'll see if they keep Kevin Byard for another season. They've got Kyler Gordon. So they've got, and Jaquan Brisker. So they've got some talent. And Dennis Allen could come in and get the best out of that talent. All right, so let's talk about Ben Johnson and why this is a great hire. So obviously from the offensive perspective, I got some notes here that I'm going to read to y'all, right? So the Lions last season, so Ben Johnson was with the Lions he had been with the Lions since 2019. He had actually really cool with Dan Campbell. He was on that Miami coaching staff when Dan Campbell became the interim coach and was on that coaching staff for the Miami Dolphins in 2015 for the Miami Dolphins. So, but since 2019, he had been with the Detroit Lions. So he was their quality controls coach in 2019. He became the tight ends coach the following year from 2020 to 2021. And then he had been the offensive coordinator since 2022. And obviously, this is a guy that really got Jared Goff, a guy who was traded to Detroit to really basically be the ending of his career. And he got Jared Goff to have top 10 quarterback-like seasons and have this guy really playing at a high level and really get Jared Goff kind of playing how he did in the second and third year of his career with Sean McVay. Obviously, in my opinion, as y'all know, the Lions, they did lose to the Washington Commanders. Shout out Jaden Daniels. I'm going to make a video on him soon. But I really didn't blame. Me personally, I don't think that game was on Ben Johnson from a play calling perspective. I just think Jared Goff just had a bad game, and I think he proved as good as Jared Goff has been. One, you could definitely see he does benefit from the system that Ben Johnson runs, but also, in a fair statement, Jared Goff is not an elite game-changing quarterback. Cam Newton, former number 1 overall pick, and has his podcast 4th and 1 talks about the different categories for quarterbacks. There's the game changers, there's the elite, there's the game managers, and then there's the below average. So you maybe see the game changers, the elite guys like Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. Maybe if you want to put in Justin Herbert, maybe. And obviously there's your game managers, the Dak Prescotts, the Brock Purdy's, the Sam Darnolds, obviously, the game managers. A lot of those game manager type quarterbacks right now. Matthew Stafford is also an elite game changer, by the way, and I've made a video about that before. But let me give y'all some, this is really going to help, in my opinion, take this Bears offense to another level. So last season with the Lions, and the last two seasons, really since Ben Johnson took over as offensive coordinator, the Lions have really been a really good high efficiency and high powered offense. So the Lions in last year in 2024, they ranked second in total yards, offensive yards with 409.5. That was second behind the Ravens. They were second also in total passing yards per game. So obviously, right, Jared Goff, but also total passing yards game. They had 263.2 passing yards per game. That was second behind the Bengals. Rushing yards, they rushed for 146.4 rushing yards per game. That was sixth, so a top 10 rushing offense. That was behind the Ravens, the Eagles, the Commanders, the Buccaneers, and the Packers. Points, they ranked first with 33.2. So they were the best scoring offense points-wise in the NFL last year when as Ben Johnson is the offensive coordinator of the Detroit Lions. In the red zone, they were the third best red zone offense, especially converting touchdowns in the red zone at 69.4%. That was third behind the Ravens at first, the Bills at second. Third down conversion percentage, fourth. They were the fourth best team in converting third downs. Bucks were first, Chiefs were second, Ravens were third. So this is really going to Ben Johnson, look, and his play designs, you see it when you watch the film, the play designs, the motion, the run game, and that's why I already highlighted maybe going in with that 10th overall pick and drafting a guy like Ashton Genty to really come in, and you've already got your third down kind of change of pace back in DeAndre Swift. You go in and add that true RB1 in Ashton Genty, a guy who was, debatably maybe even the Heisman Trophy winner last year. And you saw the season that he had. You bring in Ashton Genty and how special of a talent he is at that running back position, and seeing what Ben Johnson was able to do with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, I think that's really going to be key to really getting the most out of that offense, and it's going to take pressure off your young quarterback and Caleb Williams. Also, Caleb Williams, again, in my opinion, was solid. Didn't have a horrible rookie season by any means. There's still growth. There's still development. They're still getting him to hit the easy throws, the checkdowns, not holding the ball too long, not taking unnecessary sacks. Those type of things, developing your quarterback, that's going to be huge for Ben Johnson to come in. And I think that was a thing. I think seeing the talent that Caleb Williams has, and obviously why he was the #1 overall pick, I think Ben Johnson seeing, okay, I've got a really good offensive core with DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and Rome Odunze. You've got DeAndre Swift. You've got also the tight end Cole Kmet and Gerald Everett. The Bears have a lot of talent on that offense. Shane Waldron and just Thomas Brown, those two collectively just couldn't, and especially too, you have a young first-year quarterback in Caleb Williams. They just couldn't get that offense to play at their best, really, at times. It just seemed like that offense never really got going despite all the firepower and talent they had. Even the play designs last year, like Shane Waldron, Theo Ash, and Nico Elite Takes, who are two good sources that I use in breaking down film and stuff. It just seemed like the play designs and how they had the wide receivers lined up and the different play designs and what they're running and the routes and stuff, it just didn't seem like it made sense. So Ben Johnson, seeing what he did in Detroit, right? And you've got that amount of talent on that offensive side of the ball. Ben Johnson's going to come in and I think immediately help Caleb Williams and that offense immediately take a step forward. How will the team perform next season? I'm not sure, because again, you still have these NFC teams like the Vikings, I hate to say it, but the Vikings, despite them, being a one and done team. You still have the Detroit Lions. We'll see how they adjust to losing Ben Johnson and expected to lose their defensive coordinator, Aaron Glenn, who's expected to be he's either going to be the Saints or the Jets head coach. Those are the top two teams that are looking to hire him. And so he's either going to go to one of those places. I personally think he's going to the Saints, but it's looking like right now he could be going to the Jets. We'll see which team he goes to. So you've got them, and you've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and doing what they're doing. You've got the Commanders doing what they're doing. You still got the Eagles. What will the Cowboys do next year? We don't know. Will the Cowboys improve? I mean, personally, I don't know, but we'll see. With a healthy team and maybe adding more talent, we'll see. And obviously, what would they do at head coach? We'll see what they're going to do. But in my opinion, this is a great hire. I'm upset because, as I've been talking to my boys and my Jaguars fans, man. Freaking Sean Khan, he kept Trent Baalke in the building, and I think Ben Johnson would have been our head coach if we didn't keep Trent Baalke. But Trent Baalke's in the building. It looks like it's trending right now that the Jaguars are going to hire Liam Cohen, but that's another topic for another day. Again, I love the hire of Ben Johnson. In my opinion, he was the #1, and I'm sure a lot of people's #1 head coaching candidate for the team. As y'all know, Mike Vrabel became the Patriots head coach, so they've got their guy. The Bears just filled their head coaching vacancy. They've got their guy. Wonderful hire, great hire. And I think this is, again, going to help Caleb Williams and really that whole team just really get back on track. So great hire by the Chicago Bears. My name's DJ. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe, comment, do all those things. Have a blessed one. Stay safe out there in this winter and it's cold out here. Stay warm. Be blessed. Peace.